Hey, what's cracking? Can everybody hear me? My face looks hella chubby. Hey, so I've been reading some of the comments on that video that I did talking about Gen Z. Boy, it's a whole bunch of people in them comments, and I'm assuming it's mostly Gen Z people that are like, one, they got some funny comments. Some people in there calling me old and washed out. I'm an old dude, born in the 1900s, who don't know what he's talking about. But I see a lot of comments from people talking about that they don't want to work 9 to 5s, right? And I've been seeing a lot of these videos popping up in my timeline from young people who say that they don't want to work a 9 to 5. So I'm here to let all the young people know I don't think there's anybody that actually wants to work a 9 to 5. I don't want to work a 9 to 5, right? But I guess my thing to young people, if your family isn't rich, or you don't have some type of inheritance that you're about to get, or you're not making a bunch of money off online activities like YouTube and OnlyFans and God knows what else y'all are into, video game streaming, how else do you guys, you Gen Zers, expect to finance your lifestyle? How do y'all expect to earn money? If you don't want to work a 9 to 5 because you claim the corporate environment is evil, I think somebody left a comment talking about how they had hired some Gen Z people, and one of the employers or whoever was asking the Gen Z person to give a presentation, and they say the Gen Z person had like a meltdown, had a meltdown in the office, right? So I'm saying, if you guys don't want to work, how do you expect to feed yourself? How do you expect to, just financially provide for yourself? Like, what do you actually plan to do? What super ridiculous talent do you all have that will allow for you to bypass the 9 to 5? All right? I mean, I know a lot of y'all think y'all gonna be TikTok stars, Instagram stars, OnlyFans stars, and what is that streaming? What is it? Twitch stars. What do y'all honestly expect to do? All right? And then, for those of y'all who have to go out there and actually get a job and become a part of the corporate work structure, what do y'all expect from these employers? I mean, do y'all expect them to bend over backwards and cater to your every needs? Have like a timeout corner when you start throwing a hissy fit. You get to pull out a stress card telling your boss that you're feeling stressed out, and some little therapist comes in there and pats you on the back and tells you everything is going to be all right. Like, I guess I'm just trying to understand the mentality of Gen Z for the majority of you all out there who don't have some extraordinary talent that'll allow for you to be an entertainer, a sports player, or you just hit the freaking lottery or something like that. Like, for the rest of y'all who are gonna have to go to work and eventually take care of yourself, what do you expect? What do you really think is going to happen? All right? Because I've seen a lot of y'all in my comments talking about, I'm projecting, I'm butthurt, I'm old. Well, I don't really think I'm old, even though I'm 44 years old, but I tend to think that I got my life together for the most part, all right? My bad. I think I tend to got my life together for the most part, and I can, what the hell is this? Oh, and I can sustain myself and my family. So I'm just really trying to understand, hey, what's going on? What's that name say? Cosman, what's cracking? So I guess I'm just really trying to understand this Generation Z mentality for not wanting to work. Or they think work is too hard, too complicated. Just all this weird stuff that a lot of people in this generation think, man. I'm really trying to figure this out. Because like I said earlier, Nobody really wants to go to work. Lord knows I don't like working. I don't like working, right? Every day, not every day, but every time I see the Powerball numbers come up and the lotteries for like $100 million, I go pay $1 for a ticket and hope and pray that today is my lucky day. I can retire and go off into the, just go out there and live my best life, right? That hasn't happened yet. So until that happens, I got to go out there and work to provide for me, my family, and all the things that I want to do to make my life as great as I possibly can make it. Because I wasn't born to be an athlete. Even though I'm 6'1", I'm not a basketball player. I can't sing, I can't rap, I can't act. All I know how to do is shoot guns and click clack on computers. That's all I'm pretty good at. So I just wonder what y'all are gonna do, man. And why some of y'all were so butthurt watching that video when it really wasn't me saying that y'all suck. Although I do think a lot of y'all do suck, but don't take that personally. I'm talking about the entire generation as far as this mentality is concerned. Because I had this conversation today with some of my students in my class, and some of them were repeating the same sentiments about how they're not excited to go get a job. But I'm looking at them like, why are you in this program learning cybersecurity? The whole point of this program is to get you guys trained up, skilled up, so y'all can go out there and get a job and make money, because the majority of y'all live at home with your parents, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? If your parents will allow for you to stay with them rent-free or reduced rent, whatever the case may be, then by all means take advantage of it. But at some point, Gen Z, y'all gonna have to grow the hell up and go out there and learn how to fend for yourself in this big, bad, scary world, man. And let me tell y'all guys something. Outside of Twitter, outside of Instagram and social media in general, nobody gives a damn about your feelings. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I know a lot of y'all come on here, you'll find camaraderie. Somebody will make a video just spilling their guts about how they feel, the workplace sucks, and everybody wants to do digital hugs and pat each other on the back and stuff like that. But once you put the phone down and turn the internet off and go into the real world, nobody cares, man. Nobody cares about your feelings, because everybody else has their own feelings and thoughts, ambitions and desires, and they ain't got time to be listening to your crap. I'm just keeping it a buck with you, in case nobody's ever told you this before. And that's how the real world functions. And so while the real world is functioning like that, you all need to figure out what you're gonna do, what skill set you're going to try to learn and master, so that you can hopefully put yourself in a position to make as much money as you possibly can make. And the quicker you do this, meaning the earlier in age that you do this, where you make a bunch of money, pay off debt, stack up cheese, do whatever you gotta do, hopefully by the time you become an old crusty person like me in your 40s, hopefully you will have enough money in the cut, in the bank account, to where you can kind of pull back and explore other options in your life as to whether or not you want to do something because you want to do it, or you don't want to do it because you don't want to do it, not because you have to do it. You understand? And so I spend a lot of time on this channel preaching and teaching tech and talking to people about IT. It's not because I love IT and I just wake up thinking about ones and zeros and computers all day. Hell no, I don't do that crap, right? I talk about this stuff because, well, besides this being my professional background, but I talk about this stuff because this is probably one of the easiest professions you can get into and make a lot of money really quick at a relatively young age. Now, we're not talking about you finna be getting some NFL, NBA contract type of numbers, unless you're on some, unless you go out there and do a Mark Zuckerberg and create your own social media app or something like that. But for the most part, most of y'all, it's not gonna take you forever and a day to crack $100,000 in IT. if you know what you're doing, or if you know what you want to do and you actually put effort into it. And the faster you can get to that $100,000 mark and above, and you start stacking that, let's just say you 18 years old, coming fresh out your mama's house, you're still wet behind the ears, and you don't know what the heck you want to do with your life, and you're like, I'm gonna go learn some tech. Tech G is the man. He gonna get me right out in these streets, which I will. But anyways, you go learn this stuff. All your buddies done went off to college, pledging fraternities, chasing girls, doing whatever the heck they do at college, right? Anyways, 4 or 5 years goes by. They graduate college. You've been working. You certified up. There's a high chance that you could possibly be making close to 100, if not over $100,000. Who they going to get? It's a whole lot of police rolling. All right. Anyways, so it's a high chance you could be making over $100,000 when all your buddies graduate college and they're moving back in with their parents because student debt is whooping their asses. You know what I'm saying? And so let's just say you're 18, you're turning 22, 23, been working 4 or 5 years, got you a couple certs, you $75,000 to $100,000 a year strong. Man, you run them numbers up for the next 10 years into your 30s, assuming you don't have any crazy spending habits and you're not popping out baby mamas all over the place. But anyways, you run them numbers up into your mid-30s, going into your 40s. You could be potentially setting yourself up for a life of chilling and relaxing, because you got money in the bank and you got opportunities and an in-demand skill set. And then hopefully you got enough money in the bank where you can kind of pull back and be like, I'm not with all this running and gunning anymore, chasing these crazy IT jobs, paying these high salaries, working these crazy hours. I got enough money in the cut. I'm gonna start investing my money into properties, stocks, start my own little side business, do something else to where I can make that money up in another way that doesn't require me to be chained to a desk all day long in a cubicle or wherever the heck they got me working, all right? These are just some things y'all should think about. Like I say, I don't know of one single person that I can immediately think of that's just overly excited about going to work a 9 to 5. Baby boomers hate it, Gen X, millennials, we all hate it. But most of us, I should say, we all understand that it's an ends to a means, assuming we've done the right things in life, learned a skill, don't have no criminal record, graduated high school, try not to become a baby mama or a baby daddy. But we all have done the right things in life so that when we do get my age and older, we can have options as to what we want to do. Because sitting around here talking about, I'm 18, 21, 22 years old, I don't want to work because of a 9 to 5. Well, all right, what are you gonna be doing when you turn 30 years old, bro? You still gonna be living at your mama's house, smelling like hot Karachi and Cheetos? Like what are you gonna be doing? You gotta do something. I mean, people aren't just gonna pay you because of your good looks. So I mean, what are you gonna do? You gotta do something. So I get it, the work environment sucks. It can suck, but unless you're rich, you hit the lottery, or you got some crazy talent, what are you gonna do? So unless you can tell me what you're gonna do, you might want to learn a skill that can put a lot of money in your pocket in a somewhat short amount of time, and go out there and maximize your income earning potential. Instead of sitting around here bickering and whining online with other people about how you hate the workforce. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes it. I gotta go back in a few seconds, but nobody likes it. Anyway, I just want to hop on here and talk about that real quick. Nothing too serious. Let me see. Yo G, Army Strong. Yeah, I was Army Strong. I've been out the Army almost 10 years. I'm not Army Strong anymore. I'm Army Flabby. Here's the reason why I started working back out. Kelly says they also think they're going to force their employers to let them work from home. Plus they want top-notch pay for minimal work. Is crazy. Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. A lot of these youngins, they feel like they should be paid $100,000 a year just to flip hamburgers, and put salt on French fries. That sounds great in fantasy land, but do you have a skill set that is worthy of somebody paying you $100,000? Most of y'all don't. I started off working at Burger King when I was like 15, 16 years old. I think I was making like $5.50 an hour or something like that back in like 95, 96. I wish I would have went up in there talking about, y'all need to pay me $50 an hour. They probably would have fired me the first day. But thing is, if you don't have any skills, you don't have a resume built up, I mean, you can't honestly expect to go out there and earn top-notch dollar. I mean, you don't know anything. You don't know how to do anything. You got to work your way up, build your resume up, build your skills up, so you can justify these so-called high-paying jobs later on. And later on doesn't take forever to get here, especially in IT. I was telling you about one of my students, Carlos. Carlos makes like $150,000, $60,000 a year. Carlos didn't know a damn thing about IT 4.5 years ago, 5 years ago. He literally didn't know anything. He barely knows how to turn his phone on. Today, he works at a hospital, pulling in about 150, 160, and he got his own side business that's doing like $500,000 a year in business. You know what I'm saying? But when he first got started, he went and got him a help desk job, probably making like $20 an hour. But he knew what he wanted to do, or at least he had somewhat of a vision as to where he wanted his career to go, and he went and executed on it, way better than most people. Cosmo says, what's going on, Lucky? Cosmo says, I'm 19, made my own little home lab, hosting a gaming server, hosting my own CD website where I got my projects and everything. Got my ITF and my Azure 900. Currently studying for the A+ in building experience. That's great. Those are the things you should do, because those little home labs and building your own gaming server, those are all IT technical projects you can list on your resume that an employer will find valuable, because it shows you have initiative and interest in your own professional development as it relates to tech that can obviously benefit their company. And you're probably going to be a great asset to the company, and they might pay you a little bit more money. Who knows? One thing I would say about Gen Z as a millennial, they do got a business, a business met spirit. What is a business met spirit? I don't know what that means. It says, are they still going to be 35 still at home? It's a possibility. Now, listen, I don't want to necessarily knock people who live at home, because in case you guys haven't been paying attention to the economy, it is kind of expensive out here. Trust me. When I look at the bills I got to pay every single month, I be like, good googly moogly. Like, why is everything so damn expensive, man? But, if you got to do what you got to do. Now, if you're 35 living at home, walking around in your pajamas, drinking up all the damn orange juice and not putting anything on the rent or the food, then we got a problem. But if you're 35 living at home and you helping your parents out with some bills, buying some food, cleaning up the house, I don't have an issue with that. But you just can't be 35 living at home just with your feet kicked up, clipping your toenails, doing nothing. You can't do that. That's a no-go. Chico says, I'm a Gen Zer and I have no problem working a 9 to 5. I just want to be paid fair. I'm using the money I make to set myself up for a better financial position when I'm older. As you should be. Speaking of that, I saw this meme, right, that was going around. I don't know if it was a meme, but it was something related to Starbucks. And somebody had put on there, it was a news article about Starbucks, and how somebody, or maybe a Starbucks employee, was complaining about the CEO making millions of dollars, and the Starbucks employee was making like 20 bucks an hour, right? And so people were sharing this, talking about, man, that's wrong, man. How the CEO making all this money, man? So I came through. You know, I had to come in there and give my little 2 cents, right? So I left my comments. I was like, let's think about this here. So I Googled, how many employees does Starbucks hire? It was like over 100,000 employees. I don't know how many of them are baristas, but I was like, let's think about this. This is no shade to a barista. But I was like, what does a barista actually do? They make your coffee and sweep up the floors, collect the money and sweep up the floors, right? That's what they're paid to do. So I was like, what does the CEO do? Well, the CEO, they're probably the person that is in charge of steering the Starbucks ship, making sure they're hopefully making all the right decisions to keep that business alive, to bring in customers to buy their overpriced coffee, so that they can generate enough money to pay the hundreds of thousands of baristas out there $20 an hour just to pour coffee and sweep floors. So them paying a CEO to make sure that they can generate enough money to keep a company alive to hire these baristas, I don't necessarily see an issue with him being paid whatever he's being paid, considering what you do as a barista is pour cups of coffee and sweep the floor. It doesn't really have an impact on the overall organization, right? Like the decisions the CEO would have to make. So I get it. We all want to be paid fair, a livable wage and all that. I get it. But I just think sometimes you got to think about what can you do to actually increase your earnings, right? I mean, you can pour coffee. And look, no shade to coffee people. I'm not much of a coffee fan anymore, but no shade to them. But I'm just saying, if you want to make more money, you probably got to learn a skill set that is more in demand and more specialized, and then you'll probably be making more money. I mean, that's just my 2 cents on how this works. I'm gonna check on my son in a second. It says if they don't want to work a 9 to 5, then build up a good work history so you can find something better than the 9 to 5, or weekend schedule works best for you. It's always tougher at the start, but you got to work. People got to work, man. People got to work, but nobody wants to work. Look, I don't want to work, but I still got to work. I got some expensive responsibilities, wife, kids, and all this other crap. Oh, you've been out the Army almost 24 years. Oh, okay. Oh, there go my man Zakiba. Zakiba's one of my students right here. He says he's back in the field, working at the hospital now as a field tech. Yeah, Zakiba's one of my students that came through my training, got certified, got a job. Zakiba, if you want to send me your resume, I can hook that thing up. I've been working on my resume writing business, bringing that to life. So, trying to help y'all get these top-notch, high-paying jobs. Anyways, y'all, I just want to come on here and run my mouth for a few seconds. Nothing too serious, man. I'm outside waiting on my son to finish up his activities, and I was just kind of bored and reading some of the comments that people were leaving on these Gen Zers talking about how they don't want to work and calling me old and crusty and I'm out of touch. I mean, I don't think I'm old and crusty. I don't think I'm out of touch. I just think I'm in tune to reality, man. It's like you're not going to be able to whine and cry your way through life hoping and praying that somebody just gives you something for nothing. You're going to have to go out there and bust your ass and do something. Whether you work, whether you start your own business, you got to do something, right? Nobody cares about your feelings when you turn off your freaking TikTok app and your Instagram, and you got to go out there into the real world and figure out how you're going to get some money so you can afford these high prices out here. Nobody cares, man. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Because, I know a lot of y'all think these TikTokers care, and these little people who be boo-hoo whining and crying on YouTube. What y'all don't realize about these TikTokers are at least these YouTubers, some of them are getting paid money to keep up the whining and the crying and the boo-hooing and complaining. Because they know that's what y'all like to hear. So you got to do something. And doing tech isn't hard. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can do anything you want, but, obviously I know tech. But anyways, so I just wanted to share that, man. I got to go here and retrieve my son. But just want y'all to think about these things, Gen Z. Nobody wants to work, man. None of us want to work. We all want to be lying around in a lap of luxury with people feeding us grapes. That's what we all want. But it's not going to be really out. Are they still in there?
Oh, yeah. Cubbies?
Huh?
The Cub Scouts?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still in.
Oh, okay. All right, thanks.
They go to probably about another 5 minutes or so.
All right, thanks. All right. Yeah, nobody wants to work. I want to lounge around too, man, and just let my feelings fly on social media as well. But that's probably not going to pay my bills, man. So you guys got to learn something. You got to do something. You could be mad at the world all you want, but my thing is, the quicker you learn a skill and you put yourself out there, get hired, start making some money, I think a lot of y'all's mentality will change. At least I'm hoping. What these kids in here doing, man? It's hot as hell out here. Many want instant gratification and the idea, and no idea how the real world works. They want to be $100,000 salary entry level because they look up to social media instead of in real life working people. Yeah, we live in a microwave society. You can blame this on like Instagram. You know, people be posting the perfect pictures, living the glamorous life, or you look at celebrity culture. You see these celebs driving these fancy cars, living this glamorous life, but a lot of people just don't see, well, what all effort went into that celebrity getting all that. Like, you're just seeing the end result. You're not seeing the work ethic that actually went into that crap, man. There was a lot of lonely nights, grinding, hustling, doing whatever they had to do to become great at whatever the heck it is they're trying to become great at. Nobody sees that. Nobody advertises that. Nobody celebrates that. But that's where the magic is made. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, when you're out there hustling and grinding, you know, nobody's going to come around and start celebrating you. They'll probably be making fun of you and clowning you and looking at you crazy for why you're trying to do this, that, and the third, chase your dreams. But the moment you hit and get on, all of a sudden everybody's going to be like, oh, man, I knew you'd always make it. You know, I was down with you since day one. And, you know, that's when they'll come around and start singing your praises. But all we do is see the praises being sung, but we don't really see the grind and the effort. So you got young people, they're being programmed to see nothing but images of success. But nobody's really talking to them about what does it take to actually achieve this success? Like, why is this person earning $100,000? Oh, is it because they probably went and learned a valuable skill, put a lot of time and energy and effort into learning it, mastering it, applying it, so that when they go out here talking to these companies or these customers, you know, they can speak with confidence, like, hey, I know what I'm doing, and yes, my skill set is worthy of $100,000 according to the market and all this other stuff. They're not being told that. They just see, oh, somebody made $100,000. I should be getting $100,000 too for sweeping the floor. It's like, no. Unless you own the company and you sweeping floors, and that's something different. But whatever. I wasn't affected by the hurricane. So, I mean, we got a bunch of wind down here. So I live in Central Florida, so it wasn't like really raining too tough. But it was like hella windy on this past, what was it, Thursday the hurricane came through? Yeah, so I didn't really get affected like that. All right, I think I gotta go get my son. I see parents are starting to come out now. So anyways, I just wanted to share that with y'all. I gotta go get my kids, so I'm gonna holler at y'all. All right, y'all be safe, be easy, and hit the subscribe button.